These are my thoughts about the inconsistency of America itself, especially in regards to immigration, integration, and the inclusion, the policies before Trump, and why I'm having difficulty being on board with these protests. Also, the effectiveness of the protests, questioning its true intent, and the merits of the people behind such protests. So let me begin with the merits in general and the makeup of the people who feel compelled to protest in their eyes against Trump's tyranny, which are white liberal progressives. The people we look to be the most vocal and resistant against tyranny in all its oppressive forms. Unfortunately, that's not really who they are. As with most things, the awareness of most things didn't suddenly appear overnight. I think I became more aware of the nature of the liberal agenda long before I came to the continental continental United States, and the more accurate image of America's true legacy. But before I go into America's true legacy, it all started when I heard Mark Rufio. While I was being inspired, I couldn't help but feel this growing, I wouldn't say rage, but annoyance, I guess, of his comments about the forefathers. This is not what the forefathers, and I do like Mark Ruffalo. I'm sorry if I'm saying this name wrong, but the Hulk from the Avengers. I do enjoy his work. I think he does do good activism, but I'm tired of this notion of how great and how wonderful the our forefathers were, and how this revisionist history of how they viewed immigrants in general. But let me just respond to them. I just want to say, and then it also irritated me of just seeing maybe just hearing another prominent actor just say, oh, this is what democracy looks like. And I said, in response to that, I wanted to say, democracy does not equate justice. When slavery was not only accepted, but an expected practice pushed by our founding fathers, was that the true face of democracy or justice? When Benjamin Franklin writes the Negroes brought into the English sugar islands have greatly diminished the whites there, or when he wrote, the white who have slaves not laboring are enfeebled and therefore not so generally prolific. Or how about, if he finds it vacant or removes the natives to give his own people room, or that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionately very small. All Africa is black or tawny. Asia chiefly tawny. America exclusive of the newcomers, wholly so. And in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion, as are the Germans also, the Saxons only excepted, who, with the English, make the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. I could wish their numbers were increased, and while we are, as I may call it, scouring our planet by clearing America of woods, and so making this side of our globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of inhabitants in Mars or Venus, why should we, in the sight of superior being, darken its people? Why increase the sons of Africa by planting them in America, where we have so fair an opportunity, by excluding all blacks and tawnies of increasing the lovely whites and red? But perhaps I am partial to the complexion of my country, for such kind of partiality is natural to mankind. This was Benjamin Franklin. None of this can be undone because later he adopted the beloved here to stay sentiment of separate but equal, because he decided he wanted to be an abolitionist. And this is part of that democracy that often gets overlooked and diminished when people chant, "This is what democracy look like." Every common ill that plagues us was passed through, voted by, but not always, but often by both political parties. And that is why that's why I must question the sincerity or the self-awareness of these protesters when these same people have and will continue to support people who divert funds away from impoverished communities, continue the practice of redlining, pay minorities significantly less than their counterparts, enact policies that widen inequality, and oftentimes do absolutely nothing, not even the bare minimum, to strengthen or even improve local communities. And yet, this is what democracy looks like. This is what our founding father would want. And frankly, I don't give a fuck about a group of old white men who would hardly see me as a person. Honestly, I'm glad people are protesting, but they weren't protesting when the new Jim Crow era 2.0 was being pushed. No DEI hire. When the ICE raids first started, not one person. Then it became personal. And now, after 20-something years of ICE, the existence of ICE, now we can all agree ICE is bad. And it probably has nothing to do with the economy or just trying to piss off Trump. You guys really did care all along. You just needed to see a little girl with cancer being whisked away. You needed to see depravity after depravity for you to go outside, hold a sign, and say ICE is bad. And that is not to say that protests are ineffective or that I don't want people to resist. But are they resisting? ICE. ICE has been doing this not to this magnitude since 2003. There have been reports, there have been video, there have been accounts of the travesties and the depravity that has been exacted by ICE. What makes me mad is America's level of tolerance for just evilness. What makes me mad is that the majority of protesters are fighting for maybe at best a few issues in their mind, and they're fighting for, and in their mind they see themselves as fighting for the underrepresented, the underdog, but yet can't even name one underrepresented person, doesn't even know the person other than what they appear to be, which is a person of color struggling in America. And I'm tired of everyone touting this as a victory, as a stepping stone for something greater, when they themselves continue to be a part of the problem. When you accept any level of injustice anywhere, the war is already lost. When you accept a system, an inherently flawed, an inherently purposely flawed system that feeds on oppression to survive, then what is the point of protesting? If not for the reliance on that system that puts you and everyone like you in a disproportionate advantage of everyone else. Since America's inception, we have had numerous passage of laws meant to exclude just people of color. This is just to name a few. The Naturalization Act of 1790 that states that, we're just looking for free white men, excluding all non-white people. The Page Act of 1875, which excludes China, Japan, and in their words, other Oriental countries. the Chinese Exclusion Act. We've had internment. We have the extermination of the Native American population. Of tried not to complete. I'm glad that they're still thriving, but the genocide of whole Native tribal communities. We even had the National Origin Act. We've had various forms of redlining. We've had the Homeowners Loan Federal Housing, American Housing, Fair Housing, and all those acts about housing has been in news. Oh, we want to make it a fair and balanced system, but they've just been used to keep certain groups of people of color within their boundaries and to not go within the white person zone or whatever. It's like, it's just so hard to even say out loud, but it's like that's the necessity of it. And in all of these communities that you see predominantly white people, they will not question the system that they're in, that the system that they feed into, that they will just say that this was just the general makeup, and it's not, they will not see that they are a part of the laws that are being passed. They will just say that, oh, that I am the distinction to the rule. That, oh, if there was a person of color that came in here and I welcome them, that I'm one of the good ones. And it's like, that's the problem, is the fact that they consider themselves part of the good ones and they don't question. The majority does not question the environment in which they live, and that's why people like Trump has been able to not only become more visible, but be more welcome, to be more visible, and to thrive. And it's just that I would ask if people would listen, to be curious. Not only be curious, but to be aware of the general makeup and what it entails, and how your community, I want you to actually know how your community is built from the ground up, instead of assuming that it was built on fair means. I want that when people are chanting, oh, this is what democracy looks like, that it is this. If this is what democracy looks like, then I don't recognize her. I have not. And quite frankly, maybe I've never seen her. Who's this? Like, I don't know. Like, she looking real unfamiliar. She been looking real unfamiliar. I've yet to see like a real picture of democracy. Having said that, like, all these legislative tools were used and are continuing to use to exclude, not include. Not include. Democracy in itself does not equal just or morally right. What we need is a revolution, a true revolution from within. Until America realizes that it was never built on inclusion, but rather exclusion, we will not grow as a nation. And that's my thoughts.